Level 1, the beginning. You are 0. You are born in a public maternité, not a private clinic. A sage woman delivers you. A medicine checks your lungs, your reflexes, your fingers before anyone else holds you. Your parents are salaried. Dual income. Not spectacular, not precarious. This isn't Paris. Wages run lower here. So does rent. Your second parent's leave starts first. 3 mandatory days right after your birth. Then 25 more calendar days of paternity leave. 4 of those days are locked to right after the birth, no splitting them up. Your mother's own leave runs longer. 6 weeks before you arrived. 10 weeks after. Social Security pays her a daily allowance for all 16 weeks. It's calculated off her salary, not the calendar. You are declared at the mairie within 5 days. You are entered into the livret famille, the booklet that will log every birth, marriage and death in this household from now on. You are given a provisional social security number while the real one processes. You are added to a CAF file that won't pay out anything until a second child arrives. The actual carte vitale takes weeks. Your parents call the CPAM twice, on hold both times. Your grandparents come on the first Sunday. Your mother cooks at home this once instead of driving to theirs too soon after the birth for that. But the shape holds anyway. Aperitif first. A meal nobody rushes through. Your name comes off a shortlist that took 4 months to agree on. The weeks blur after that. Feeding, changing, sleep stacked in the wrong sizes. Your parents run on coffee and half-finished sentences. One night, tired, they start talking about school zones. Half joking. Not quite. The college with the better results sits in a different postal code than the one you're in right now. Level 2, the early years. You are 3. You start École Maternelle. Free. Mandatory since 2019, it used to be just customary. School ends at noon on Wednesdays some years. Other years it doesn't run at all. Free time in the middle of the week, gone again once you're older, but you don't know that yet. Lunch at the canteen runs 3 courses. Starter, main, something with cheese most days. You eat what's on the tray. No separate kids menu. No exceptions because you don't like it. A poster goes up on the classroom wall your first week, the charte de la laïcité. Your teacher explains it in words a 5-year-old can hold on to. School belongs to everyone, so it doesn't belong to any one religion. You don't think about it again for years. Sunday teaches you its own rhythm early. You learn to wait through 3 courses before dessert shows up. You learn the television stays off, no exceptions. You learn to sit through second helpings of cheese nobody asked you to finish. You learn eventually to stop asking when it will be over. Your sister is born when you're 3. The KF's monthly family allowance starts now. It only kicks in from the second child, not the first. Not long after your parents move. Smaller apartment, higher rent. A different postal code, the one zoned for the college they'd been talking about since before your sister existed. Money gets tighter for a while. Nobody explains that part to you directly. You fall off your bike at 7. A scraped knee, then a pharmacy visit. Your mother hands over the carte vitale. Pays €1 or 2 out of pocket for what the state doesn't cover. That's the whole transaction. You start CP at 6. Real homework for the first time. A few sentences to copy out each night. A first taste of the wait school will eventually put on you. August empties the city out. Your parents burn RTT days and congés payés on 3 weeks near the coast. The roads are jammed the whole drive down. From the back seat, you count how many cars share your parents' license plate department, more than you can keep track of. A girl named Ines moves in 2 doors down. You're inseparable within a month. Her parents already say après le bac in a tone yours haven't picked up yet. Like the future needs planning now, not later. Level 3, the coming of age. You are 11. College starts. 4 years ahead of you, 6 down to 3e, ending in an exam called the brevet. Civic class covers lycée properly this time. Not just a poster. Freedom of belief, your teacher says, is exactly why the classroom itself can't take a side. You're old enough now to turn the idea over yourself instead of just memorizing it. You pass the brevet. Lycée next. Seconde, première, terminale, 3 years toward the baccalaureate. At the end of seconde, you choose specialty subjects. It looks like a simple form. It isn't. The choice quietly sorts students toward university, toward technical routes, or for a small number toward 2 brutal years called prépa, the road into the country's most competitive schools. Ines is one of the small number. Her parents have already hired a private tutor for the subjects that matter most on that track. You don't have a word for what you're noticing yet. Just the fact of it. Some families can buy a head start. Yours can't, not at that price. You pass the baccalaureate. Core subjects, 2 specialties you picked yourself. A 20-minute oral exam called the Grand Oral, where you defend an idea out loud with no notes in front of you. Your first real job starts around the same time. A few hours most Saturdays at the boulangerie. Cash some weeks. A payslip other weeks. Your first taste of money that's actually yours. You revise after dinner most nights the last 2 years. You revise on the bus. You revise through what used to be your Saturday shift. Eventually your boss cuts your hours so you can study instead. You revise until the words on the page stop meaning anything at all. A news segment plays one evening about who fills the seats in France's most competitive classes. Children of managers and professionals take most of them. Children of manual workers take only a small fraction. You recognize the pattern before the segment ends. You don't say anything out loud. Parkus Up opens in the winter of your final year. You have to rank every choice, university programs, BTS options, the schools you know you won't get into but list anyway, before a single result comes back telling you whether any of it was realistic. Level 4, the fork in the road. You are 18. Parcours Up sends its verdict in early summer. Not your first choice. Not your second. A BTS ingestion at a public lycée across. You take it. There isn't really another option on the table. Ines gets her paper placement the same week. Word reaches you through her mother, 40 hours of class a week, before she's even opened a textbook at home. You do the math without meaning to. More than double what you're about to sign up for. You move out that September. A colocation, 2 roommates, a 4th floor walk-up with no elevator. Your share of the rent still eats close to a third of what you bring in. The colocation turns out fine though. 3 of you split the rent, the chores, a battered second-hand sofa nobody remembers choosing. Thursday nights become a standing thing. Whoever's turn it is cooks for the other 2, badly some weeks, and you all stay at the table anyway. The internship attached to the BTS barely pays. Under 2 months, and it wouldn't have to pay you at all. Yours runs longer, so you get the legal floor, a little over €4 an hour, barely a metro pass, and a sandwich most days. You learn the Saturday market's rhythm fast. You learn full price holds until 10. You learn the markdowns start at noon. You learn to show up at 12:45 every week, on purpose. You vote for the first time that autumn. The polling station is set up in your old college gymnasium, the same neutral space it's always been. No party colours past the door, a curtain, a booth, a stamped card. You finish the BTS 2 years later. Applications go out. Nothing comes back for weeks. Then nothing again. Then finally, one email with an interview time attached. The offer when it lands is a CDD. 6 months. No promise of what happens after. You sign it anyway. Level 5, entering the system. You are 23. The CDD gets renewed once, then ends the way it was always built to. You register with France Travail the following Monday. There's a 7-day wait before anything gets paid. When it starts, it's calculated off your last salary, a daily reference wage, numbers on a screen that take 2 phone calls to actually understand. A second contract follows a few months later, closer to what you trained for this time. Still fixed term. Still watching a calendar. June 21st, the whole town turns into a concert. Fête de la musique, every square, every side street, bands you've never heard of playing free until midnight. You go every year after that without needing to be asked twice. The second CDD converts to a CDI that winter. Permanent. No renewal date printed anywhere on it. A bank calls you back about a loan for the first time in your life. You move into your own studio not long after. First time living completely alone. The routine sets in fast. You clock in at 9 most days. You clock out at 6 some nights later. You clock the extra hours as RTT, not overtime pay. You clock the days until the ones you've banked are finally yours to spend. Your contract says 39 hours, not 35. The difference converts into something close to a dozen extra days off a year, stacked on top of your 5 weeks of paid leave. You meet your partner at a friend's birthday. A year and a half later, the 2 of you sign a pax at the Mairie. 15 minutes at a counter, 2 witnesses, a signature. Nothing like the wedding either set of your parents had. Your mother calls one Sunday and mentions, almost as an aside, that she's been tired lately. More than usual. You don't think much of it at the time. Level 6, the build. You are 30. You and your partner start hunting for a place to buy. A mortgage is the only way you can afford it. It usually is. For buyers in your position, owning outright, free and clear, is the exception here, not the rule. The notaire's office becomes a second home for a few months. You sign where the notaire points. You sign 2 pages later, same pen, new clause. You sign a third time, initialing every page of the loan to schedule. You sign until your own signature stops looking like your handwriting. You marry at the Mairie that same year. A civil ceremony, performed by the deputy mayor in a sash across her shoulder, the only version of marriage French law actually recognises, whatever else you add around it on a different day. Your first child arrives the following spring. This time you're the one at the counter, filling out the livret de famille, requesting the carte vitale, opening the CAF file. The same forms your own parents filled out for you 30 years back. The creche waitlist is brutal. You tour daycares like job interviews, ask about staff ratios, put your name down at 3 of them before the baby's even due. A spot finally opens. The fee is scaled to your income, a few €100 a month. Still a fraction of what it would actually cost without the subsidy. You host Sunday lunch for the first time that winter. Your parents sit at your table now. You're the one topping up glasses, timing the cheese course, watching the clock without letting it show. A second child arrived 2 years later. Back to the creche waitlist. Back to the CAF counter, the same form, a different name at the top. Ines turns up at a class reunion that same year. An engineer now, a title with real weight to it, a salary you can guess is higher than yours. She mentions quietly that she can't remember the last time she made it home for an actual Sunday lunch. Different path, different cost. Your mother's tiredness turns into real appointments around then. Blood tests. A referral. Nothing confirmed yet, but the visits start stacking up on her calendar the way exams once stacked up on yours. 2 kids, 2 jobs, 1 mortgage. The calendar on your kitchen wall is colour-coded just to keep the week from collapsing. The specialist calls that autumn. Gives it a name, finally. Level 7, the reckoning. You are 45. You're promoted that spring. More responsibility, more say over your own hours. Your contract shifts to face yours, capped at 218 working days a year, counted in days now, not hours. No more RT slips to track. Just a number at the top of a spreadsheet and a level of trust from HR you never had as a junior. Your mother's diagnosis firms up that same month. Not just tests anymore. A treatment plan, a schedule, a name for what's wrong that the family says out loud now without flinching. Her appointments get scheduled around your meetings now, not the other way around. One colleague covers your calls without being asked twice anymore. You sound normal on a client line 10 minutes after sitting across from her oncologist. You know exactly what a day of forfait jours is worth. You never had to calculate it before. Your own kid starts college that autumn. Comes home the first week, describing a familiar poster, the Charte de la laïcité, word for word what hung on your classroom wall 30 years back. Same explanation, even. School belongs to everyone, so it belongs to no religion in particular. A few years on, it's your kid's turn at the baccalaureate. Same 2 specialty subjects to choose. Same 20-minute oral exam waiting at the end. You watch them revise through dinner the way you once did, and you recognise every symptom from the inside. The silence, the second coffee, the door shut a little too long. The home health aide for your mother runs several hours a week now. Assurance Milady covers a share of it. Not all. The gap comes out of savings set aside for something else entirely. 5 weeks of paid leave a year, plus whatever forfeit days you can claim. Some years that's the only thing standing between you and running on empty. You take a Tuesday off just to sleep. Sunday lunch shrinks some weeks to just the 4 of you, no grandparents, no extended table. The order stays the same. Aperitif, then courses, then cheese, then coffee. Just fewer chairs filled. Hospital corridors become familiar terrain. Same vending machine. Same particular grey of the waiting room chairs. Your phone buzzes mid-meeting more than once, and you've learned exactly which vibration pattern means it's your sister calling, not work. Your kid finishes the back that same year. Passes. You take them out for dinner that weekend, an actual restaurant instead of home cooking, rare enough that it still comes up at family meals years later. They pick their own fork afterward, not the elite track, not quite your old BTS route either. A license at university in something practical, chosen with more information than you had at their age, if not necessarily less anxiety. Your mother's doctor raises a new possibility near the end of the year. A place is opened at an EPAD 20 minutes from her apartment. The family sits around your kitchen table to talk it through, and nobody has a clean answer yet. Level 8, the descent. You are 55. Your mother moves into the EPAD that winter. The monthly cost is steep. Her own pension covers part of it. A disability allowance chips away at the rest. What's left, you and your sister split between you. No real discussion needed. You just do it. Weekend visits become the rhythm. You bring the newspaper. You bring photos of the grandkids. You sit in a chair by a window that looks out on a car park, and the roles from level 1 sit there too. Fully reversed now. You're the one signing forms about her care, the way she once signed forms about yours. She dies in the spring in her sleep, the nurse tells you. No drama in it. The funeral is arranged within the week. Family drives or flies in from wherever they've scattered to. Your own grandchildren, at the service, are more curious than sad. Too young yet for real loss. Old enough to ask good questions about the woman in the photographs. The first Sunday afterward, nobody suggests skipping lunch. You cook anyway. Roast chicken. Nothing fancy, because not cooking felt worse than getting it slightly wrong. Your own body starts asking for attention around then. A real conversation with your medicine treatment, blood pressure, a screening you'd been putting off, the small negotiated compromises of 55, nobody warns you about at 20. Retirement paperwork starts years before you'll actually need it. You do the arithmetic once at 55. You do it again at 58, when a letter arrives changing the reference age. You do it a third time at 60 on a different form entirely. Each version tells you something slightly different about the year you'll actually get to stop. Your pension, when it comes, will be calculated off your 25 best paid years, not whatever you're earning the day you leave. You start paying closer attention to which years those might turn out to be. Reading glasses first, then a knee that complains on the stairs some mornings. The print on every official letter seems smaller than it used to be, or maybe that's just the eyes. You and your sister divide what's left of your mother's estate. Even with her will spelling things out, French law had already decided part of it for her. A portion of any estate goes straight to the children, whatever the will says beyond that. Your employer's HR office opens the real conversation that year. Not if, but which year exactly you'll be able to stop. Level 9 the last years. You are 65. Retirement gets processed that spring. The first pension payment lands smaller than your old salary, but steadier than you'd braced for, calculated as promised years earlier, off your 25 best paid years. Your own child has a child that same year. You're someone's grandparent now, a fact that takes longer to feel true than the paperwork did. Tuesday is pétanque now. Wednesday is the vegetable patch out back. Thursday, weather permitting, is a walk down to the market just to look, not necessarily to buy. The week has a shape again, a different one than work used to give it, but a shape all the same. Sunday lunch is at your table for good now. No more shrinking some weeks, no more simplified versions eaten alone. Grandchildren included, cheese course included. You're the one presiding over it, the way your own grandparents once presided over yours. A checkup that autumn flags something chronic, nothing dramatic, but enough to earn you an ALD status, full reimbursement for that one condition, and a permanent file that follows you to every appointment from here on. November 1st, you visit the family plot. Flowers, the walk between the rows, your mother's name among the others now. It's a tradition you barely registered as a kid, tagging along behind your own parents. You keep it without fail these days. Mornings start slower. Some days are cane, some days not. A grandchild's noise through the house feels like relief, more than it ever felt like burden, which surprises you a little. You watch a grandchild start école maternelle that same year. Same free system. Same backpack hat, same new pencil case you remember buying for your own kids. The same first day nerves on their face that you remember from your own 60 years back. Some years it's your partner's health that worries you more. Other years it flips, and it's yours they're managing. A doctor at one routine visit uses a phrase that stops you for a second. We should keep a closer eye on this. You've heard that exact phrase before in a different office about a different person a long time ago. Level 10, the legacy. You are 87. Your decline is slow then sudden. A fall in the kitchen. A hospital stay that turns into another one. Your children take turns sitting by the bed, the way you once took turns sitting by your mother's. Then, for a stretch of weeks, you're allowed home. A hospital bed gets installed in what used to be the living room. You die there on a Tuesday morning quietly. No drama in it. Your daughter is holding your hand. Your son is in the kitchen making coffee neither of them will drink. The funeral gets arranged within the week. Religious or entirely secular, the choice belongs to your children, not the state. French law requires neither. They land on something in between, a short non-religious ceremony. A reading your granddaughter wrote herself the night before. Afterward, the family does what this family has always done. 20-some people around a table too small for them, extra chairs dragged in from 3 different rooms. Nobody's in a hurry to leave. Someone opens a bottle of red too early in the afternoon. Someone else makes coffee nobody asked for, out of habit more than thirst. The plates empty and get refilled twice. The notaire calls your children in separately, then together the following month. Your will split things evenly between your 2 kids, plus a smaller gift to a charity you'd supported for years. Most of it barely matters, legally speaking. French law had already decided part of it for you. With 2 children, 2/3 of everything goes to them, split equally, whatever the will says beyond that. The remaining third, the part you were actually free to direct, goes to the charity, exactly the way you'd planned it. Your grandchildren, old enough now to really listen, gets the stories retold at that table. The Sunday lunches that ran 3 hours some weeks. The August drives to the coast, the roads jammed on the same 2 days every single year. The year the retirement paperwork took 11 months and 3 separate letters just to confirm one number. Your name gets its final entry in the livret de famille that afternoon. Someone else's name, a great-grandchild not yet born, will open a new one eventually, somewhere else entirely. In a maternity you never visited, in a city you never once drove through, someone just took their first breath. A new carte vitale number is already being generated for them. The Collège Just zoning is waiting for them. The Parcours Up portal is waiting for them. Not that they'd recognise the name yet. The 39-hour week and its stack of RTT days is waiting for them, decades off. The Sunday table is waiting for them too. Somebody already is planning what to cook.